Lickety Split here. Today we're working with a unit from Warhammer the Old World, from the Empire of Man, the Empire Knights. I'll be painting up my Empire Knights in the color scheme of the Knights Panther, so we'll have a nice rich blue and silver color scheme. I always paint the horses and the riders separate. It just makes it easier for me, but you do you. So we're going to put the rider aside because we're going to start with a horse. And the first thing we're going to work on this horse is we're going to do a skin. So this one is taking a 4-to-1 mixture of Gore-Grunta Fur and contrast medium. So we'll go ahead and spread this all over the exposed skin of the horse and its mane and this little socks down here. Where's the mane and the tail? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be right back. Okay, now with all that done, we're going to go ahead and move on to the second of our 3 variants for the horses. And this one, we're going to start out with some Black Legion. We're going to put this all over the horse's skin and its tail, but we're going to leave the hooves. We'll be doing those in different color later. Okay, I'll finish this up and be back. Okay, now that's all done, we'll move on to our third variant. Our third variant is going to be some Cygor Brown. Cygor Brown is very nice, a little darker, but it's got a nice red tint to it, which is really nice. You can see it here. So just put it on there, make sure it's not pooling, and you should be okay. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, now we're going to be going on to step 2 and variant 1. We're going to take some Seraphim Sepia and we're going to place it all over where we put the Gore-Grunta Fur earlier. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, now we're going to go on to step 2 of variant 2, and we're going to be putting some Drakenhof Nightshade all over the places where we put the Black Legion. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, now we're going to move on to step 2 of variant 3 for horses. And this involves going to use some Reikland Fleshshade. And we are just going to put this on the horse's skin and not on the little socks or his tail. We'll leave those alone for now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be right back. Okay, now we're on to step 3 for variant 1, and we're also going to do this for variant 3 as well, the Cygor Brown. So we're going to use some Black Legion to paint in the hooves. Again, we'll do this both for this one, the one where we started with the mixture of 4-to-1 Gore-Grunta Fur to contrast, and the other one where we started with a base of Cygor Brown. I'll finish it up and be back. Okay, now we're on step 3 of variant 2. The one where we started out with Black Legion. We are going to use for his hooves some Gore-Grunta Fur. So there's a bit of contrast between the two. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be back. Okay, now that step's all done, we're going to move on to our next step. And our next step is going to be to start working on the armor for the horse. And the first color we're going to use for that is Talassar Blue. I want to go with nice even strokes from one end of the area to the other, and go ahead and just work on one of these panels at a time and just keep it nice and smooth. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and I'll be right back. Okay, now with all that Talassar Blue applied, we're going to go to the next step for a horse's armor, and that involves using some Ultramarines Blue. We got to go ahead and put this over all the blue armor. Another contrast paint, so take it easy, spread it out. Not a lot of pressure, nice and light. Take it one section at a time. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Now that that's all done, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next color. And the next color is going to be some Cygor Brown, and we're going to use this on all the leather, like your saddles, your bridles, straps, that sort of thing. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be right back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color now. Our next color is going to be some Iron Warriors. We're going to use this for all of the metal, like the bridles and this little armor here. I'll go ahead and start out here. And just get it in there. You know, don't take it straight from the pot. You got to thin it a little bit so it flows a little better. It gets into the recesses. Straight from the pot, it might just gum up some of the details. We don't want that. Just gonna work it in there. Let it out. Okay, and we will go ahead and be right back. Another thing you can do is you can do these rivets in the metallics. Here, here, here. Basically throughout, and then down here too. You can or can't, that part's up to you. Okay, now we're gonna start working on the rider. And first step we're gonna do is gonna paint his armor, and we're gonna use Grey Knight Steel for that. Just thin it down a little bit so it flows nice and smooth. And give it a nice good coat. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. Okay, on our next step. Next step is going to be a mixture. It's going to be a 5 parts Lahmian to 1 part Black Templar. We're going to use this over the armor, and it's going to basically get in there and give it some depth. And some definition, like you can kind of see here. Don't overload your brush because you're really trying to just use it to get it into the recesses. Okay, I'm going to finish this guy up and be right back. Okay, this step is just a tip. Right, usually when I do a big area like this, and maybe I have some overage, and I'm going to be working into more just small details, this will be the step where I'll go back with the base color, in this case Wraithbone, and clean it up. Like I got someone's face and a little bit on the saddle, that sort of thing. Makes a big difference. Okay, on to the next step. The next step is going to be some Guilliman Flesh, and we're going to paint this on his exposed flesh, which is just this little bit underneath the helmet. Finish it up and be back. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next color. We're going to start working on the areas that we're going to paint white. And the first color we're going to use for those areas is going to be Nuln Oil. We're going to do half of the feather. We're going to Let's see, can you see it? There we go. We're going to alternate these twists because one's going to be yellow and then blue, yellow, blue. White, blue. And then one of these will be white and one of these will be blue. So that's what we'll be putting the Nuln Oil on all those as the first step. All right, I'll finish it up and be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color will be some Talassar Blue. We're going to do this in a few places. Any place you want blue, we're going to do it here on the lance, the saddle, this half of the, this half of the feather, and of course the alternating swatches here. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, we're going to move on to the next step now. And the next color is going to be some Ultramarines Blue. And we're going to be going over any place where we put the Talassar Blue. Like the lance, the feathers, and saddles. Okay, I'm going to get this done and be right back. Okay, on our next color is going to be a little Leadbelcher. And we're going to use this to paint the tip of the lance. All right, I'm going to finish it up and be back. Okay, on our next color. Next color is going to be some Imperial Fist, and we're going to use this on any of the Panther iconography that was on here, like this part of his helmet for this guy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be right back. Okay, I'm going to move on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Retributor Armour. First part, which I've already started. There we go. This is going to be on this little bulb right here up on his helmet. But we're also going to start working on the details on the armor. The raised edges here. It's going to vary from figure to figure on these guys. This guy's got this like sun face on his chest that we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to finish this guy up. I'll be right back. Okay, on the unit champion, I did the initial coat on his panther pelt in a mixture of 2 parts Apothecary White, 1 part Skeleton Horde. And then the underside here, I'm going to add a coat of Reikland Fleshshade. There we go. You can see it now. Much better. To the underside of the skin. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be back. Okay, we're moving on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Casandora Yellow. And we're going to place this all over where we placed the Imperial Fist earlier, which is all the Panther iconography. This fella, it's on his helmet. So it adds a nice orange tone to it and gives it some depth as it goes into the recesses. Nice definition. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Guilliman Flesh. I'm going to put that all over the Retributor Armour. There we go. Add some, there we go. A little bit of depth and definition to it. Change the color a little bit. Take that bit off of there. Okay, I'm going to go and finish this guy up and be right back. Okay, we put a fair amount of work into our Knights Panther so far, and they're looking pretty darn good. And if I were considering something for just, I was trying to get an army on the tabletop quickly for a tournament that was coming up, or some sort of get together, or some goal I'd set for myself, and this might be where I'd consider stopping for something like that. And this is what I'd call 3 foot fabulous. So at 3 foot away on the tabletop, This looks really good. But we're not going to stop there. We're going to keep going. We're going to take it to what I like to call 1 foot of fantastic. And the first step we're going to do, we're going to be working on the blue a little bit more. We're going to be using a mixture of 6 parts Lahmian Medium or water to 1 part Kantor Blue. And then we're going to be having very little left on the brush because this is a glaze, right? Not much. And then we're going over the blues. What this does is it helps even it all out. Okay? Gives you a nice even coat. Just spread it out. And it helps kind of give it, and it takes the beginning of taking it to that next level. Alright, I'm going to finish this up. I'll be right back. Okay, on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Flash Gitz Yellow. And we're going to use this to highlight the Imperial Fist and Casandora Yellow we put on earlier. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Cygor Brown. For this, we're going to be doing some leather straps, like his little chin strap here. Okay, I'll be finishing this up. Be right back. Okay, we're gonna go on to our next color. Our next color is gonna be some Nuln Oil, and we're gonna use this all over like the silver metallics that we did, like the sword blades, the lance tips, stuff like that. Okay, I'm gonna finish this up on the rest of the unit and be back. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next step. And our next step is we're gonna be putting some white scar into the places that we put the Nuln Oil earlier. Just get it in there. Use it to highlight. You can leave some of the Nuln Oil that you did in some of the recesses and stuff. Add a little bit of depth. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color now, and we're going to start working on doing the final highlight for our gold. And for that color, we're going to use some Liberator Gold. So we're going to go ahead and hit the highlights with this. I don't like to have too much on my brush. There we go. Here I might do like in the middle, so it leaves the darker areas on the top and the bottom. Helps highlight it. And then the gold trim that we painted earlier, I'll just lightly, I'll edge highlight it, bring my brush tip along it. Kind of like this. This is what I'll do. Need a little bit more on there than that. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up and be back. We're gonna move on to our next color, and our next color is gonna be some Hoeth Blue. And we are gonna use this to edge highlight the blue. So just go nice and light, and you can build it up. You see, there we go. That's a little better. And just catch the edges. All right. Just go around, catch the edges, slowly build it up. Touch up I gotta do there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this guy up, and I'll be back. Move on to the next step. We're gonna be working on the unit champion. We're gonna be working on this panther pelt here, and we're gonna be using Screaming Skull. And we're gonna put a light dry brush on it. Let's get Just the edges. Nice highlight. You can go ahead and go underneath. Hit the underside as well. Looks like I got a couple little blemishes to clean up. That's all right. Pretty typical. But you got to go back and touch stuff up. All right, I'll finish up and be back. Okay, on the next color. Our next color, we're going to be using some wildwood. A little bit of a different way. We're going to be using it on the pelt to get in the spots that the panther has on his coat. Basically, what we're going to be doing is a sort of like some C's with some dots in the middle. Okay, I'm going to finish this up, be right back. On our next color, and we're going to be using a little bit of Screaming Skull to go over the top of the panther spots that we just did. Okay. I'll be finish that up and be right back. Okay, we're on our next color. Next color is going to be some Pallid Wych Flesh. And we're going to use this to hit the highest points. Add some depth and like also for the little ears and the face of the panther there before we go back in there and do a little more work. All right, I'm going to finish this up and I will be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Black Legion. And we're going to be using this on the eyes. Nose. Of this panther cloak. There we go. Okay. On to the next step. Okay, on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Eshin Grey. And we're going to use this as some highlights for that Black Legion we put on earlier. Maybe a little bit in his eyes. And a little bit highlight in nose. Okay, I'll finish this up and be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Black Legion, and we're going to be painting in the eyes. Or the first step of the eyes, I should say. So we just want a little bit on the brush. And go in there. Slowly paint it up. For the other one, we can change the position. Okay, I'll finish these guys up and be back. Okay, on our next color. Next color is going to be some Screaming Skull. And we are going to use this to paint in the, finish painting the eyes. We're going to paint a little dot in one corner, a little dot in the other corner of the eye. Change the orientation. Clean the brush. Get some new paint on it. Because we're doing such a small amount. There we go. There we go. I'll be back. Okay, we're on the next step. Next step is going to be what I like to call the secret sauce. And that would be some Screaming Skull, which basically give virtually everything a very light dry brush. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, we're moving on to our next step. The next step's going to be we're start working on the eyes. And the first step we're going to use is some Black Legion. And we are just going to paint this just on the eyeball. Okay, I'm going to finish up the rest of the unit and be right back. Next color is going to be some Iron Hand Steel, and we're going to use this to paint the flat edge, the cutting edge of the champion's sword. So I use the edge of the brush, not the tip, on something like this. There we go. Just makes it easier to get it because it'll lay along the edge, and the points where it peeks out, it'll go away from it. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be back. We're going to move on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Ironbreaker, and we're going to be using this to highlight the edge of the champion's sword. Again, I'm doing what they call edge highlighting, where you just take the brush flat, right, and then you drag it across the edge, so it'll just catch the edge. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. On the next color, we're going to do a mixture in this one. It's going to be 1 part Liberator Gold, 1 part Runefang Steel. And we're going to use this to paint some of the flat areas, like here, this little shield looking thing here. And like the pauldrons, I believe it's called, the shoulder pads, pauldrons up here. And if it's a little thin like it is here, then you can just go over with, you can do a second coat, just to make sure you get it. Good coverage. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this guy up and be right back. Okay, now we're gonna work on variant 1 of our horses. And I'm gonna take some Deathclaw Brown, and I'm gonna use it to highlight all the skin and of course the fur. I'm gonna take it and lightly build it up, bringing out the raised portion, ridges and stuff. And just slowly work on it. Go around the figure. All right, I'm gonna finish this up. Now we're gonna move on to our next color on our variant number 2 for our horses. And that color will be some Eshin Grey. And we're gonna use it to bring out some highlights and the ridges of the horse and the hair. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. On to our next variant. This is the one with the Cygor Brown. What we're going to do is we're going to hit it with a dry brush of Eshin Grey. And we'll have one more step after that. So again, as before, slowly build up your highlights. Trying not to get into the recesses. Just slowly work on it. Alright, I'm going to be back. Okay, now on to the final step for variant number 3 for our horses. I'm going to take some Bloodreaver Flesh and I'm going to hit just the skin, not the fur. So any place for this fur, I'm not going to touch it. Just going to go out just to highlight the flesh. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, on to our next step. We're going to start working. We're going to do some highlights to the blue armor. And the color we're going to be using is some Hoeth Blue. And we're going to be basically doing some edge highlighting to bring out the ridges. So nice and easy. Don't overdo it in the first go around. I'd recommend doing a couple of light coats, 2 thin coats, and just go back over it a couple of times until it builds it up to the point where you like it. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on the next color. The next color is going to be some Screaming Skull, and we're going to be using this to paint in the eyes. We've already done it in the Black Legion. Now we're going to take the Screaming Skull and put a little dot in each end of the eye. Like so. Alright, I'll be back. Okay, now that's done. We're going to move on to the next color, and the next color is going to be some Leadbelcher. And we're going to use this to paint the trim of the armor. And do a small little band around the bottom. Like so. And of course, the spike on the horse's head. All right, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Our next color would be going to be some Skeleton Horde, and we're going to be using this to paint the parchment area that's on the shield. Alright, I'm going to finish these up and be right back. Okay, now that Skeleton Horde all applied, we're going to go on to the next color. Next color is going to be some Imperial Fist. And we're going to start working on the Panther iconography on these shields. So, just take your time, spread it out, get over there. It's okay if it spills over a bit. Not too much, but because we're going to be painting the field in the blues, just like we did the armor. And that'll cover any of that up. Alright, I'm going to finish these up and be right back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Retributor Armour. I'm going to go, there we go. Go ahead and do the little crown that's below the Panther on this particular shield. Let's see. Go. Okay, I'm going to finish this up, be back. Okay, next color we're going to be using is some Casandora Yellow. And we're going to a little bit more than that. Putting this over any place that we already put the Imperial Fist. Alrighty. Whoops, too much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and I will be back. Okay, if we move on to our next color is going to be some Nuln Oil. And we are going to, there we go, use this on all the places we put the Leadbelcher. So I like to have that Nuln Oil overlap just a smidge. Helps create a good, I don't know, kind of like a good defining line when it dries. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on the next color is going to be a little bit of a Reikland Fleshshade. And we're going to do this on the little crown that we painted with the Retributor Armour before. Like so. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Flash Gitz Yellow. We're going to use this to highlight the Panther iconography that we painted in Imperial Fist and some Casandora Yellow. Don't want to go overboard on it. Just hit it kind of lightly so that it catches the edges. Alright, I'm going to finish it up, be back. Okay, we're going to move on to our next color. Next color is going to be some Talassar Blue. And we're going to go ahead and paint the fields of these. Just be careful when you're doing this so you don't go over the stuff you already painted. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on to our next step. Next step is we're going to be applying some more Leadbelcher on here. But we're not going to be painting over the whole thing that we did before with the Nuln Oil. We're going to be leaving a little gap. We'll go around. Basically get more of the edge. Okay, I'm going to finish this up and be right back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Ultramarines Blue. And we're going to place it over all the places that we put down the Talassar Blue earlier. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and be back. Okay, on to our next color. Our next color is going to be some Black Legion. And we're going to use this to paint on some of the spots for the Panthers. Alright, I'm going to finish this up and be back. Okay, on the next color, we're going to be using some Black Legion to add some spots to our leopard, or panther headset, excuse me. Okay, I'll finish this up and be right back. Okay, on the next color is going to be some Black Legion. And we're going to use this just to paint the backs of the shields. because really you're not going to see much of them. So you just, a lot of times I just paint it black, or Wildwood's another good color. Just go with it from there. Okay, I'm going to finish these up and be back. Thanks very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out. I try to focus on techniques here be the most bang for your buck. It may not win you a golden demon, but we'll get you on the tabletop. Lickety split. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.